Well, I was going to talk a little bit about the history beyond this. See, this by this time, Tom, we must have had, we have to grown from maybe roughly 100 students, maybe to 150 students. See? But in order to do that, by the way, you know, you just don't get students because we couldn't afford an admission department. So Mary and I were the admission department too. And my job was, I would call the high schools and try to get acquainted with the high school teacher, because these are the people that guide the kids, the valuable talents. They're in a high school level, even in the 8th grade level, and as they move on to the high school level. We felt that we got to get to know them. But when we first started to call them, they said, "Oh, we don't want to talk to you. That's the Columbus Art School." See? And we said, "Well, wait a minute, well, it's different now. See, we changed things, see." Well, and most of the time they would say, yeah, I don't believe it, see. So I said, well, I would tell them, I said, well, let me come over sometime and give a talk to the kids, and I will show you some of the work we're doing. That's the way we got into the high schools. I recall going beyond Columbus, going to Erie, Pennsylvania, because we had a couple of good students from Erie, Pennsylvania. There's a lot of talent up there, see. And when I went up there, the teacher told us that, you know, we never hardly ever heard of you. And I said, yeah, but we're changing things, we're developing things. And they were good high school teachers. One was one of the best in the country, Joe Plavkin, his name was. He turned a lot of great painters and designers, even from high school. So we went up there. I'd have a car load of artwork, you know, and give talks and show the kids, and we put them on the wall. And then they said to us, they said, frankly, they said, you know, we send most of our kids to the Cleveland Art Institute. She said, I said, oh yeah, that's fine, that's nice, you know, that's fine. I said, but I just want you to get acquainted, you know, with the Columbus College of Art and Design. By that time, I talk about, there was a change in name from Columbus Art School, which did not have a tremendous reputation at the time, you see. It did have before World War II, because they had good teachers then too, see. And anyway, I went back the next year. They invited me back the next year and a year after that. And Joe Plavkin and I got to be pretty good friends. You know, he was a painter and I was an artist. And he would invite me to his house and we'd talk. He says, you know, he told me one day, he says, you know, we used to send at least 90% of our graduates to Cleveland Art Institute. See? And then later on, he says, I think it's switched now. I said, 90% are going to the Columbus Art School. The Columbus College of Art and Design, we only got 5% going to Cleveland, see. But that's, you know, besides talking about the philosophical attitudes, yet, you know, actually, you know, contact people and the formative levels in the high school levels, the teachers in high school, they're tremendous, and they're still very good. Still very, very good teachers, you know. That's one good thing the colleges do, by the way. You know, Ohio State, Audubon, Capital, Denison, Ohio Dominican, they all do a great job for developing teacher on the elementary and secondary level. See, that's all. But beyond that, they cannot develop professional artists.
Do you think you need to talk a little bit about more why the name change came about? How that?
Yeah, I'll go back
to
that sort of thing. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's right.
So somehow we started to get acquainted with the high school teachers, and we continued to do that. You see, then we developed, of course, we developed an admission department, and it expanded things, and we always told them whatever you did to do it in a qualitative manner, see, because sometimes we were confronted with people who are not so pleasant on the road, so to speak. They were like students for students' sake. We always said, don't ever take that attitude, always be nice about it and talk about the quality of things that you're interested in. So that's what happened pretty much on a second year level, and I just want to talk a little bit about some of these dates that occurred about this period. We had some pretty good activity sometimes. Some of it was explosive. Some of it was lousy. And, but we had from time to time, even early in the beginning, when we tried to change the philosophy of the school, there were a couple of instructors, that they want the school to change. See, they felt, no, let's keep it small. Let's keep the school small. We can, the kids around Columbus and the museum had a stronger voice. The museum said the museum people, can take classes, That's what they thought the school should be. We came out of the New York scene. We were told. Lee Malone hired me, Boccia, and McCroskey. They hired us out of the New York area. And finally, when I accepted, I never even accepted the deanship at the time, he said, okay, make the school successful. And I said, okay, I'll make the school successful. That's what I thought, making a school successful, building an institution who build qualitative things, you see, to do things qualitatively. Everything we do will be qualitative. And so we started by redesign the catalog. I think I talked about that. And then, the going out to see some of these instructors I just spoke about. But the battle went on there maybe for a couple of years. You see, this is early. This must have been around 1951, 1952, early in my experience, They did that, and we did not worry about it too much because, honestly, we didn't think it was very serious. So certainly, they're not serious that they should want a school to be a nobody. To stay kind of a dormant manner and teach a few classes. What kind of a school is that? But the way we looked at it, we said we want a school to become prominent. No, in Columbus, to us, it was just a starting point. We'll do everything we can for Columbus. But then Ohio, then America, then we thought even Hong Kong, and way out around the world, and we did it. We did it with a quality intention, you see. And we build the school toward the development toward nothing but the finest possible quality. Nothing but. We rejected everything that wasn't qualitative. I remember some real nice folks these are museum folks, you know, they felt like then they had extra furniture. And they would give it to us. We accepted it. We felt some of the furniture, we use it as backdrops for painting classes. But they wanted us to, you know, to put some of the furniture in our office and all. And we still accepted them. We were nice to them. But after 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, some of the other people around and we took the terrible design furniture and they threw them out. So they came in the front door, anything that was lousy design, they came in the front door and we would throw them out the back door. We felt everything in here has to be of the finest possible, you know, design. And it took a heck of a long time. I mean, a long time to do that. That was just about the first initial contacts, you know, the trouble with the couple of faculty. And it went on, you know. We bypassed that, things quelled down, and students kept coming in because our reputation began to grow. It began to grow. So